secluded blacksmith shop, hidden deep in the mountains, three strange men work around the clock to complete the biggest challenge of their careers. Thunderdome.
For wrestling's toughest, the steel cage is home, but there's never been one like the Thunderdome. There's no way in and no way out. It's Halloween Havoc's most frightening bout. 6 tons of steel and electrified. The only way to win is the Terminator outside. For Funk and Muda, Sting and Flair, these blacksmiths have made sure they'll stay right there. It's 30 feet high, it's 30 feet wide. There's no place to run and no place to hide. There's no way to win, only to lose. And how you do that depends on the Terminator you use. It's Halloween Havoc and the Thunderdome. If you want to take part, best pick up your phone.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. I'm Dean Hill, see you at ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and today is a very special episode. It is an episode about Halloween. We need to get Dad to record.
Yeah, I was gonna say you trying to do Dad's laugh. I mean,
yeah, that's the Ralph Street patented us walking up from the basement steps and him behind us
scaring the crap out of me.
Yeah, out of us, dude. It scared me too. Yeah, but anyway, happy Halloween to our listeners. We're glad that you're here with us today. We've got a cool episode planned here. It's the Halloween Havoc 1989. It's WCW's very first Halloween Havoc. It's emanated from the Philadelphia Civic Center. It's 33 years ago to the date of this episode dropping, Jut. I looked that up. It happened on October 28th of 89. Our episode drops on the 27th. La-di-da. Don't give us 24 hours here, you know. And it's a great pay-per-view, honestly, you know?
Yeah. So, yeah. It didn't really get too hokey or anything like that. It was kind of just it saw some things where, Ric Flair's a face in it. I mean, so you kind of get that.
Yeah.
He's still in the middle of his feud with Terry Funk that are still in part of it that started at, is it Capital Combat or something in May or something like that of that year.
Right.
And so it's pretty interesting to see that, you get Flair as a face here and teaming with Sting versus Terry Funk and the Great Muta. So that's your main event. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sold on that one.
And well, just think about this. 3 of those guys have had a wrestling match this year.
That is crazy to think about, especially knowing that, Terry Funk's not one of them. Because, Terry Funk...
He might be the one I would have expected to.
Fight forever, But so I'm pretty positive that this year, 89 or around this time was when you and I went to Viking Hall, and we're going to tell a quick story here. So WCW was coming to our local area. We lived in Lebanon, Virginia, as everybody knows, but there was a town next to us, Bristol. If you're familiar with Southwest Virginia at all, Bristol's like the capital, basically, or Roanoke, but Roanoke's like the DC, and Bristol's like Richmond or whatever. Let's just say that. Anyway, long story short, we go to Viking Hall to watch WCW. I do remember Ric Flair being a babyface there, and it was kind of near the beginning of that because it was weird to cheer him. I remember. Yeah. Arn Anderson was there. Sting was there. I remember Sting wrestled twice, so it was obviously a TV taping of some sort. But anyway, we got to find that episode because that's the night that our Uncle Jewel took us with the agreement that he would take us. We asked him, and our parents said, yes, he can take you. And what does he do? He gets there He finds somebody he knows, and
We
go in with him, and he sits in the car outside.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think
he liked boxing, not wrestling. So
yeah. I think once he found out wrestling was fake, he probably didn't like wrestling anymore. But anyway, I just thought that was funny because it had to be around this time, and I need to nail down that date. I've tried before, I just can't remember really any of the matches. That's the problem. Anyway,
well, Sheiky will look into it. We'll see.
Yeah, Sheiky, get on that. So that being said, to lead up to this, obviously we've had some incredible shows lately. Really been blessed. Thank you, Powertown. Thank you, Kayla at Powertown. Thank you, Steve Rosenthal. We've had Greg Gagne. We've had Magnum TA, both stellar episodes. But
awesome.
Yeah. So as of right now, Greg Gagne is our number one downloaded show of all time. Okay. Great. Amazing. Impressive. And Magnum is our number one listened on YouTube show of all time. So, hey, I'm happy.
Yeah, on YouTube, man, I saw the numbers for it, and I was like, wow, it's really popping off on YouTube. I see some of our YouTube numbers sometimes. Some of the episodes like struggle to get off the ground a little bit at first, and then this one just shot way up there. I was like, wow, okay, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's quick, and hopefully it's a liken to the beginning of something that's going to start happening for us on YouTube. We are really trying to make a push on YouTube. Obviously, if you follow our social medias, you've seen Jablonski's Pissed Off. That's our brand new show that we're dropping on a YouTube-only deal, and the reason behind that is twofold. Basically, we wanted something special on YouTube that kind of leads to YouTube, something kind of like the Sheik Shorts. Sheik Shorts is a short deal that we get on there. So we get the shorts, the reels with Sheik Shorts. And the cool thing I like about the Jablonski's episode is it's only like 5 minutes. And honestly, that's about where people stop and listen. And then they're like, okay, I'll give you 5 minutes if it keeps me interested, Yeah. And so, glad to have Jablonski on the team. Mike Jablonski's Pissed Off. Go check that out on YouTube. Again, that is a YouTube exclusive. Again, always check out the Sheik Shorts. And we always drop our podcast episodes on YouTube. But at the same time, we appreciate you for downloading through Apple, Spotify, Google, and all that good stuff too. So we thank you all so much.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, okay, on with the show today. Of course, it's about to be Halloween on Monday, or if you're listening to this a year after this drops, probably on Tuesday. But anyway, this is our very first Halloween episode, and we decided to do Halloween Havoc. I put together a little something that kind of synopsizes the pay-per-view. So I'm going to read this real quick if you're cool with that, and then we'll get started. Okay, Judd?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, so Halloween Havoc 89 is an underrated gem. 1989 was considered by most to be the NWA's best ever year from a creative and match quality standpoint, featuring two landmark Ric Flair feuds and the rise of future headliners like Sting, Lex Luger, and the Steiners. It was the company's first full calendar year under the ownership of Ted Turner, and it felt like the changes at the top temporarily brought about a renewed sense of focus. Most fans correctly cite the Great American Bash and Chi-Town Rumble as the company's top two pay-per-views of that year. But for me, Halloween Havoc isn't far behind. Sporting a stacked card, particularly in the tag team division, and a unique first-time gimmick match, Havoc was a thoroughly enjoyable show from start to finish, and it became one of the company's flagship pay-per-views until its 2001 demise. But let's take a closer look. The centerpiece of this show was the first ever Thunderdome match, pitting Ric Flair and Sting against Terry Funk and the Great Muta. After having feuded for much of 1988, Flair and Sting became allies at the Great American Bash, discovering they had common enemies. The ensuing feud became so heated and intense, it was decided the only way to settle it would be inside a giant steel cage with an electrified top and campy horror decor adorning the upper sections. Each team would have a second stationed at ringside holding a white towel. and the match could only end when that said team representative threw in that towel. To ensure law and order, the NWA brought in the vaunted Bruno Sammartino as the guest referee. This match sure had a lot of window dressing, but it all helped give the bout a big fight atmosphere and made it feel like something special. The match itself was a fun brawl that ranged all over ringside as the four combatants gradually figured out the lay of the land. The fisticuffs frequently took place on the side of the cage as Terry Funk repeatedly attempted escape. Sting made good use of the structure at one point, diving off the cage rungs onto an unsuspecting Funk in the center of the ring. Another memorable moment occurred early in the match when a cage prop caught fire and Muta managed to put it out with his green mist. I'm pretty sure that's never happened before or since. After an unruly 23-minute battle, Flair caught Funk in the figure four and Sting nailed Funk's legs with multiple top rope splashes. Funk's manager Gary Hart attempted his hand with San Martino and declared Flair and Sting the victors. While certainly not on par with Flair versus Steamboat or the two Flair versus Funk singles matches, the Thunderdome match was a very worthy main event and all four guys worked hard to make the awkward match structure a success. My only gripes were the lack of blood and the fluky finish. But then, this match wasn't designed as the blow-off to this feud. That would happen at the New York Knockout. Just as strong as the main event was Havoc's undercard. The show opened with an inconsequential but very entertaining singles match, spotlighting the company's latest acquisition, Tom Zink. Zink faced the awesome veteran Mike Rotunda on his last legs under the Varsity Club gimmick, and the two gelled quite nicely. Rotunda's methodical mat work made for a nice contrast with Zink's aerials, and Zink eventually won clean by rolling through a body press in a solid opener. Next up was a tremendously entertaining six-man tag with the Midnight Express and Dr. Death, Steve Williams, facing the Samoan SWAT team, Samu, Tama, and the Samoan Savage, and this is formerly known as Fatu in the WWF. As always, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane looked great, and the addition of Dr. Death gave them the muscle they needed against huge Samoans. The match eventually erupted into chaos, and the Samoan Savage knocked Stan Lane into Jim Cornette before rolling him up for the pin. This was apparently an option for Cornette to be fired by the Midnights, but it didn't end up happening. The one real blemish on this card was the pointless Tommy Rich versus Cuban Assassin glorified squash, which ran over 8 minutes and failed to get Rich over whatsoever. Things picked up again with the Bizarre World Tag Title match as the heel Freebirds defended against violently hated babyfaces, the Dynamic Dudes. This was the earliest case I can remember of a live crowd going against script. Philly shat all over Johnny and Shane here, cheering instead everything that Freebirds did. The match itself was fine, but the crowd dynamic made it truly noteworthy, and Hayes and Garvin got a huge pop after reversing the Dude's finisher for the win. Next was Rick and Scott Steiner against the debuting masked team Doom. Doom's manager woman, Nancy Benoit, started out as Rick's would-be nerdy girlfriend Robin Green, but turned on the Steiners and sicked her new team on them. Incidentally, Doom's disguise wasn't hard to see through. You can clearly tell it was Butch Reed and Ron Simmons, and Jim Ross accidentally called one of them Reed at one point before trying to cover it up with some weird line about woman being motivated by greed. Anyway, this match wasn't great, but it was very successful in getting Doom over as a monster heel team right out of the gate. The second best match of the night was Luger's U.S. title defense against Brian Pillman. Luger was in the middle of what I consider his career peak, as the vicious bully you could sense was biding his time with the secondary belt till he got a world title shot. I always felt like NWA dropped the ball by not having the heel Luger dethrone the babyface Flair in 1990. Luger was great in '89, and he put on 2 damn fine matches with Pillman. Here he managed to outmaneuver Flying Brian after giving up much of the offense, finally catching Pillman off the ropes and nailing a hot shot for the pin. Damn good stuff here. The semi-main event match went to a huge tag team showdown as resident ass kickers, the Road Warriors, faced the company's new Monster Hill team, the Skyscrapers, Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey. I love this pairing, and while the wrestling certainly wasn't 5-star quality, the badassery on display was fantastic. The two teams exchanged 12 minutes of brutal power moves before Teddy Long's giant key came into play, leading to Sid and Spivey being disqualified. This feud continued into '90, but was knocked down a few pegs by Sid's untimely injury. He'd be replaced by a future Undertaker, Mean Mark Callis, but the chemistry wasn't the same. This match marks the only really good showing between these two teams. While it lacked a great 5-star match, it was still a pretty stacked pay-per-view with good variety, and by all rights should have set up a truly great Starrcade. Sadly, the company went with the rather pointless Iron Man tournaments, which yielded some good matches, but in the end meant very little. In my opinion, the best match of the night is Flair and Sting versus Funk and Muta, with the worst match being Tommy Rich and Cuban Assassin. Other than that, there's not much to gripe about. And so, with that being said, I thought it was shorter than that. With that being said, we are going to watch 4 of the matches. Now, yes, the Luger and Pillman match definitely probably is the second best, but for time and for honestly the most Halloweenish matches, I went with us watching the Samoan SWAT team versus Midnight Express, Doom versus the Steiners, Road Warriors versus Skyscrapers, and then, of course, the 23-minute main event, Ric Flair and Sting against Terry Funk and Muta. That way, I felt like those 4 represented Halloween the most, and it also gave us, 4 great matches to watch without watching a 3-hour pay-per-view,
Right, absolutely, yeah.
So anyway, to start it off today, we're going to watch the Samoan SWAT team Fatu, the Samoan Savage and Samu, with awesome and very underrated Oliver Humperdink as their manager, versus the Midnight Express, Bobby
The Big
Eaton.
Kahuna, you mean?
The Big Kahuna, yeah. The Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, and Steve Dr. Death Williams with the GOAT, Jim Cornette. We'll be right back. Stick around.
What is a Thunderdome match? It's Halloween Havoc. No, it's a monstrous cage surrounding a ring that is electrified. Some people say it's a colossal vulgarity. What are the rules to a Thunderdome? The rules are no rules. That's right. Funk, Muta, Flair, and Sting are all locked within this monstrous cage. And there cannot be a winner. There can only be a loser. And how is a loser determined? It's determined by 2 designated terminators on the outside of that cage. And when they have decided that Funk and Muta have taken enough punishment, they can designate an ending to the match by throwing in a towel. And our designator is Gary Hart, a very sadistic individual. Now, who is going to be your designator, Ric Flair? You and Sting? You better get some putrid, mean individual that hates your guts, because Hart will never throw in that towel. Oh, yes, Halloween Havoc is going to be the end to you, Flair, and the end to Sting also. Oh, the Thunderdome.
All right, we're back with Halloween Havoc 1989, and this one we're going to start out. Now, again, we're not watching the entire pay-per-view. If you want to watch that on your own, you knock yourself out, enjoy it. But you can watch 4 matches along with us today. The very first one is the Midnight Express with Dr. Death Steve Williams versus the Samoan SWAT team. And what we're going to do here is we're going to count it down from the 19-minute mark. So on the Peacock app, it's 19 minutes. I don't know if you're watching your old VHS. I really think that's awesome if you are.
I would love it if you're watching your old VHS.
If you are, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know when to tell you to start. All I can say is it's a faraway shot that is going to come in on the Midnight Express walking to the ring, but it's the 19.
It's right after a Bruno interview.
Yeah, right. Immediately after the Bruno Sammartino interview. So, again, at 19 minutes on the dot, We're going to count you down from 3. Okay. So why don't you go ahead and count us down, Jut?
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
What a cool combo this is. It's weird, but it's cool.
Dude, I used to love Dr. Death Steve Williams. I mean, like, I think it's kind of sad, you know, his life, you know, didn't last as long as a lot of people. So he kind of gets forgotten.
Right.
But dude, I think he looks so tough, and, you know, he's not the purest wrestler out there, but he's a bruiser and a half. And,
right.
And, you know, getting in the future there a little bit, but I could kind of see why WWE wanted him to win that tough man boxing thing, whatever they had. What was it? Brawl for 'em all. Yeah, there you go.
Right.
To kind of have him feud Steve Austin, because that could have been a good feud.
It could have been. And talking to Butterbean, he said that he knew the winner from the start, but I think what he meant was he knew the WrestleMania winner because he wasn't involved in the main Brawl for All. But
right, yeah.
Here's Jim. Look at that jacket.
And they're baby faces right here too. That's another thing.
Which is
that's an oddity too.
Yeah, because this is like the 80s Jim Crockett. All are baby faces. All the heels are baby faces right now almost. But they wrecked more homes than Hurricane Hugo. I love that. That's
definitely Stan Lane has. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Bobby got his share.
I'm sure, but I've heard Cornette talk about Stan's quality several times.
Yeah. Here's a gimmick that it's funny. It's tried and true. It's all based off the Wild Samoans for sure. Mm-hmm. You know, but also you've been to Hawaii, you see a luau. They do a lot of these fire dances and stuff, and it's usually Samoan and Tongans that are doing it. It's what's funny in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just like the Polynesian parties. So, you know, these guys are all WWE, they're all WWE, former WWE guys. They've either worked in the WWE or have family that are working in WWE at the moment. I mean, just, you know, I remember the Road Warriors Samoan SWAT team feud was great as well. You know,
here's our boy Tama Tong.
Yeah, that's our boy. Body slam. Fatu right there.
There's Quiche.
Look at him. He looks like Umaga right there, bro.
Yeah. And then, I don't really remember the other guys much. Fatu and Tama were the head shrinkers in the WWE. So
yeah, dude.
Jim Ross and Bob caught on this, but especially Jim Ross. Jim Ross dropped some nuggets if you listen to him in here.
He does.
In this whole pay-per-view. I don't remember ever listening to a pay-per-view where so much is dropped. Like he tells you stuff about, like, I don't know, like, I mean, of course he's a big Oklahoma man, so he knows all about Dr. Death, but he tells you about Sting being in the Blade Runners, and I'll point that out later and everything like that. He points out a lot of stuff if you listen. I mean, like,
yeah. So of course you got Hump versus Corny here.
Yeah. He tells you all about Stan Lane from Myrtle Beach and everything like that.
Well, Jim was like that. Jim was like a podcaster's dream, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you look, obviously Tama has put on some weight, because if you remember him from Body Slam, he looked like almost like Jimmy Snuka in a way.
Yeah, there you go.
But now he's added some muscle and
bulk.
Size. Yeah, bulk. Quiche. Look at him.
Dr. Death looks amazing right there, like just solid as a granite.
He does, dude. He really does. There's a Great American Bash behind the scenes video on YouTube that I highly recommend everybody go watch after you listen to this episode. And we're going to cover it I'm trying to get Wolfie on the show. We're going to cover it in a watch along on here, because I want to do it with him, because I think it would be fun, because he knows some of those guys. And it'll be funny because you'll see in that video how nutty Dr. Death really is, you know?
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Seems like I've seen part of it. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing for some reason. I just browsed over it or something.
It's worth watching the whole thing. Okay, they're taking it out to the floor here. I love Bob Caudle's voice.
Yeah, it's so soothing.
It is, man. That's why he's my number one all time. Even though it's my sentimental favorite, you know. Mm-hmm. I know Jim Ross or Gordon Solier; those guys are probably the best. But I still,
well, you got all three of them on this pay-per-view. So
I know. If you had Lance Russell, you would have my Mount Rushmore.
Don't they mention Lance Russell on something in this?
They probably do.
I think he's at that after show thing that they advertised on their 900 number. You could call. I think he was going to be a part of that or something like that.
Possibly.
I could be wrong, but
give us a time code just so everybody can keep up with you, Jet.
I'm at 25 minutes.
Okay.
Bobby Eaton, nice right hand.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know where everybody grew up and went to high school and went to college, by the time you're done watching a match that Jim Ross calls, you weren't listening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bobby threw one of them Memphis punches, man.
With Dr. Death and the Samoans in this, you really feel like this is a real fight. I mean,
you do. He's like, you want some of them, you got to come through me, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like having your, big brother fighting with you.
Yeah, see, Jim Ross is talking about Nature Boy training Stan Lane and everything like that. So
yeah, at a beach party.
I bet that was a wild beach party.
I bet it was. Love to have Stan Lane on the show.
Oh my goodness!
They got Bobby. Unfortunately, he passed. But
does Stan do much stuff like that? Or
he doesn't. It seems that's why it'd be such a great interview.
It'd be nice to have. Yeah.
I think he did stuff when Bobby was around. They would do like tag team interviews.
I know a lot of people like Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton. My favorites, I think it's just because that's who I more saw when we were growing up, was Stan Lane and Bobby, though. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like that's when they became a tag team. That's ridiculous. Hold on. Just erase what I just said. I feel like that's when they became like they looked in similar gear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's kind of what I mean, is like they focused on the aesthetics instead of also just the wrestling. And, Dennis and Bobby, come on, man. Second best Midnight Express ever. But at the same time, some people love Ric Flair says Dennis and Bobby are his number one Midnight, Yeah,
and I don't blame him for that. I just think like what they're trying to portray with beautiful Bobby Eaton, sweet Stan Lane, that fits them. Like Loverboy Dennis Condrey, I mean, he might have been a lover boy, but he doesn't look like it as much as Stan Lane. Looks like sweet Stan Lane. Yeah, I know.
That's the point. The Samoan Savage.
I mean, and the crowd is into this too.
Yeah.
I love this little jog that Steve Williams does, just keeping himself fired up. I mean, how many times in his career has Cornette been a face manager?
Not a lot. That's why it's weird. Later on, he manages the Dynamic Dudes.
Yeah, I think they were wanting to have a feud with the Dynamic Dudes and the Midnights, but people weren't going to accept the Dynamic Dudes over the Midnights for Jim Cornette. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Not in Philadelphia. That was a horrible place to
It's a heel town.
White meat babyface team. I mean, they love the Midnights here because the Midnights have been true heels. That's why they work as babyfaces here in Philadelphia. Ric Flair, ditto. You know what I'm saying? All the guys.
Yeah. And the Road Warriors, you don't need whatever.
They're always going to be babyfaces, even though they're, badass.
Well, I mean, I've talked about it before, that when they spiked Dusty Rhodes, like people cheered that.
Right.
Hey, Power Town, we need a good Dr. Death figure.
No kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
if you're listening,
he had one of those bone crunchers, but it's not my favorite.
Right.
He just looks like a guy in shorts and a tank top. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It talks about Bill Apter at some point in this there for photographs and everything like that.
Yeah, Jim don't leave a stone unturned. I see the fan in the front row wearing a Motley Crue t-shirt. Motley Crue first formed in...
Yeah.
What? He's just, like they call Mike Tenay the professor, but Jim might be the OG,
Jim might be the internet before there was internet. I mean...
Exactly. I mean, he definitely had a more southern sounding Gordon Soley, sound to his voice. Anyway, that's a horrible.
Yeah, Dr. Death was kind of the equalizer to the Samoans' brutality.
Right. And honestly,
but it's such a weird combo though with him and the Midnight. I don't know I wish I knew more about the build up to this match. Failure on my part. I apologize.
Well, I mean, it's probably just something simple though, like he came out to help him or something, because it's an undercard match. So there's only so much backstory they're going to have for it.
I haven't seen many leg drops like Dr. Death just did.
No.
He just did almost kind of like a split thing and then dropped the leg. I don't know.
You're exactly right. Bobby and his rights are just gorgeous, man. I need to go back on that top 10 punchers show for the Wolfie D podcast and put in Bobby Eaton because, man.
Just make a correction on your next episode.
Yeah.
I'm at 3208.
Okay.
I mean, these guys are they're putting on a show, and the crowd is so into it.
Yeah.
You'll see some matches that, especially nowadays, that it's like the crowd isn't into a match for all night long, and there could be some good matches, but crowds can kill can kill an event.
Oh, they definitely can. It's funny that the Samoan SWAT team, they didn't come out eating, rotisserie chickens.
Yeah.
That was something that the wild Samoans did all the time.
But they just, they had to eat some cartilage and stuff like that sometimes.
Oh,
yeah. Just the way they chewed on it.
Yeah. They talk about how Yokozuna loved turkey tails. Have you ever had turkey tails, Jet?
I never have. I'm an adventurous eater. I would try it, but I don't.
Oh, I would try it too, but it's basically like the fatty tip of the turkey tail. And then he would fry them up and dip them in mayonnaise. I think it sounds delicious, but it could be, some people are like, I don't eat that. I went to Hawaii. I said this already, I know, but went to Hawaii and I actually asked, I said, can I get turkey tails? And there was like, it was out of our way and didn't really make sense for me to go, but there was like a butcher shop and I could have gone and gotten some, but then I would have prepared them on my own,
Yeah. Man, maybe that's Yokozuna was a big guy though, so maybe turkey tails and mayonnaise aren't the way to go.
Maybe a couple, but not like
maybe like 2.
Not a KFC bucket full,
Oh,
look, Keith showing early signs of the cake.
Yeah.
Samoan cake.
We know that you're we know Keish has one of your favorite moves that you'd like to take ever, so
it's horrible. It's so horrible.
Wolfie gave you a hard time about that, man. I don't know. I wouldn't want to take that.
No, he just said that Kishi was clean. I'm like, well,
I'm sure he was, but
that's not the spot I wanted to find out if he's clean.
I don't care if he's clean or not. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So how old was like Rikishi or Fatu here?
Man.
30 maybe? I mean, like 25?
Yeah, I would say mid-20s. My guess. I'm just guessing he's in his mid to late 30s during the Attitude Era.
Yeah, probably so. He might have been in this. I don't know.
Yeah.
That sounded like that hurt when he hit the floor.
Splat on the concrete. No, thank you. Thank you, Jim Ross. We heard you. Flesh on the concrete floor.
Oh.
What I like about Jim Ross and Bob Caudle together is they're both doing kind of play-by-play, but Jim is a little more colorful with his
excitable. Yeah, excitable.
Yeah. Well, but what I mean is like he says more things, like he adds color, where Bob, like I said, I could listen to Bob, like sit in the corner reading me a book,
Bob Caudle's like, that was a nice drop kick there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all he says, but
Jim Ross is like, oh my God, that was an incredible drop kick. He learned that.
The drop kick was drop kick was invented by Luther.
Shades of Gorgeous George or whatever,
Yeah.
Don't come at me. I know Gorgeous George probably didn't do a drop kick. Maybe he did. Who knows? So Bobby,
who's this ref? I recognize him, but I don't know his name.
I'll have to see him close up here.
He's like the generic ref that they always made figures of anything.
That's Tommy Young.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. I didn't see him at first. Sorry. I apologize.
Podcast revoked.
Yeah.
You just missed it. You don't even know who the GOAT is. I'm just
kidding.
What's funny is I think a lot of that Aubrey Edwards chick really rips Tommy Young off. The way she reacts to moves and stuff.
Probably so.
Very Jerry Calhoun, very Tommy Young of her style. Refs don't get a lot of love, man, but they are truly a necessity in the match. You've got to have the straight man. You know what I mean?
Well, they have to. Well, a lot of times they're relaying information that we don't know, too.
That's true. They're keeping up with the time and stuff like that. But nowadays, back then, like this time, he ain't got no earpiece in his ear telling him to go.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Tommy's just showing people how to do it. Sadly, he had a horrible fall, and I think it was in a Midnight Express match, but he had a horrible fall, and he ends up retiring, and he gets hurt, and it's sad because, he probably some of his better years, he could have still been reffing, and he wasn't,
Well, that's the one thing about refereeing, man. That's something you could if you're good at it and can, you got to be in a reasonable amount of shape. You don't have to be perfect shape, but you can do it for 40, 50 years probably easily.
Right, exactly.
Maybe not 50 years. That might be a little much, but
yeah.
But if Ric Flair can have a match at 73.
Right, exactly. We were just talking about it last night that, the Ricky Steamboat comeback that he's doing in Raleigh, it's a 6-man match. It's just funny that he specifically told Flair no, but now he's kind of doing his own, It's just like...
Yeah, money talks. I'm sure there wasn't enough money or something like that.
Probably not. I heard what Wolfie got paid. It's ridiculous, honestly.
Ridiculously good or bad?
I wasn't impressed.
Okay. That's what I thought you were saying, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. For being a producer and a performer on the show, and he got paid. But whatever. I'm not promoting events like that, so what do I know?
Well, I know you told me back when you were doing some stuff that people would take headshots with chairs for get paid like $50 or $25. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you on that.
No. Never going to happen. I used to take chair shots for free, Jut.
Not to the head, though, right?
No, not to the head, but on the back and stuff.
Well, I mean, I'll give you my back for $25, not my...
What I mean is at wrestling. I mean, at rock and roll shows, I used to.
Okay.
Somebody would bring a chair on the stage and they would hit me in the back with it. Totally unrelated to my back surgery, United Healthcare.
Yeah. Who's your favorite power slam? That little scoop slam.
Animal,
yeah.
I love it, but every one of them seem like they're ripping Animal off.
Randy Orton's is about the quickest power slam you ever see like that.
I love that Jim Ross just told about look, did you see Stan Lane? He feigned that super kick kind of side kick.
Yeah.
He always kicked and kicked, but he didn't get any of it.
And Stan Lane into Jim Cornette.
Yeah. And so apparently this is what is supposed to lead to a breakup with them. But it didn't,
and it didn't need to really. That's probably Jim Hurd thinking a little too much.
Exactly, trying to mess with stuff that didn't need to be messed with, and that's just how it is. But anyway, what a match, right? That was a
great match. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I would have preferred the Midnights and Dr. Death win, but they didn't need to. They didn't need to for the
right. Exactly. But anyway. Glad that they didn't break up. Glad that they didn't do anything. Like I said, takeaway from this match would prefer the Midnights to go over, but it was trying to tell a story. Of course, Jim getting his piece of Humperdink there, and then Stan has to stand there a little bit too long for me.
Yeah. It's like the guys catching people outside these days.
Right, exactly. Seriously. It's just a little awkward for him to be standing there trying to have eyes in the back of his head. But hey.
When did Stan and Jim Cornette leave after this?
Oh, not long after.
It wasn't long, was it?
No, not long after. Not at all. Well, we've got 3 more matches here. I say what we do. Let's take a break. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey guys, this is Wolfie D from PG-13. Check out my podcast, Live and in Color with Wolfie D, every Monday at noon. We're talking Memphis. We're talking ECW, WCW, WWF, everywhere that I've been. We even have some great guests, some Hall of Famers on the show with us. Every Monday, Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
This is The Big Picture, Michael Jablonski. Don't forget to tune in every week to Jablonski's Pissed Off on the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling YouTube channel.
The Foxtrot in the sport, he's gonna tell you all about it. He doesn't care what you think, you're gonna hear all about it. Mike Jablonski, he's so pissed off. Mike Jablonski, he's so pissed off. Mike Jablonski, he's so pissed off. He's pissed off.
All right, we're back with more from Halloween Havoc 1989. And what a first match we started off there with. I hope y'all enjoyed that as much as we did. Of course, the Midnight Express and Dr. Death didn't get the win, but hey, you know, they lived long after that with their amazing tag team, knowing that, you know, of course, Bobby and Dr. Death are gone now. It's somewhat bittersweet, but at the same time, you can throw two Samoan guys from that family, the No-I family, in there, and they're going to gel well. And then you have one of the greatest tag teams of all time in the Midnight Express. As far as it goes, you know, you couldn't lose with that match.
No doubt. Yeah, it's a great match. And even the odd pairing, like we mentioned a couple times, of Dr. Death with Midnights, it worked. It worked because they needed like an enforcer type guy with them that could match the hard-hitting nature of the Samoans. So it works.
Yeah, totally. Well, the next match we've got on the docket is the Steiner brothers versus Doom. Now, this is their very first introduction, and of course, they're brought out by Nancy Benoit, aka Woman, and aka Robin, Rick's former girlfriend, girl crush, whatever. And so it starts off at 1 hour and 10 minutes. It starts off with a Steiner's promo that we're going to play from the start here, and we'll get a little bit of audio going here. So I'm going to count us down this time. So from 3, 2, 1, play.
In just a few minutes, the world will see Doom. Of course, the Steiners will see them inside the ring. My question to you, Scott Steiner, is how are you going to fight a team you have never seen before?
We have no strategy. We need no strategy. Tonight is a total wreck with a band, and that's when you're playing our game. Because when there's no rules, no anything, you're in our ball game, you're playing our game. That's the way we like it. Yeah, we got Doom. That's a good name for those guys, Doom, because when we get done with them, it's going to be fish. We like a good fight. Who cares what happens? Who cares what happens, man? As long as we get in, you get to fight, you get to beat up, so just do what you got to do.
Rick Steiner, many voices thinking that Woman will be able to distract you and cause your defeat.
No, she did it to me one time. If I get her a chance to get in there, I'm going to take her and get it.
All right, fans, back down live in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Anyway, Scott, always the wordsmith.
Yeah. Rick playing that, like CTE got to him or something like that.
Yeah.
I never did love that part of it, but maybe they just thought it was more endearing to have him
kind of dumb. Yeah. I kind of liked it, only when it worked with him and Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan would pick on him and like grab his hair and stuff. But yeah, it get a little old, especially, during this time, because, Rick might be the better promo. And if you got Rick doing the thing,
the more clarified.
Yeah. And then you got Scott trying to be the straight guy, the smart guy. It's like, because Scott's like, he's got that Michigan accent. And have you ever heard Braun talk? Rick's son?
He sounds like Scott, I think.
He does. He sounds just like him. Yeah. Well, here we come.
Nancy Benoit,
rest in peace.
So sad. I mean, everything just so sad. We could go on and on about that, but she is truly, truly underrated. I mean, her work with Kevin Sullivan in Florida before probably the national audience really knew her. Some amazing stuff. So
it really is super sad. So
she deserves to be in a Hall of Fame. I'm sure you might not see her in there, but
yeah, I will say this: Doom, how cool, very cool. They're what I would consider a son of the Road Warriors. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're the Black Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Should they have kept the masks or not?
In some way, I like the executioner masks.
Yeah.
I don't. Did they need them? Probably not. But like, I like if you're calling somebody Doom. I mean, like maybe just having two guys without anything special doesn't make sense. But
yeah,
there's a mystery about them with the masks on that makes you think, who is that?
Right, exactly. So, okay, I'll also say this. 2 of the worst Galoob action figures for portraying Doom. I mean, they could have put them in black pants and black boots, but instead they put them in like sweats, almost
navy
like
sweats with like Reebok tennis shoes or something.
It's like
that.
Maybe they were on the cusp of losing the gimmick, and they just wanted to make them look athletic. I don't know, but I don't know, dude. Here they go right from the start, just beating the crap out of each other.
If I'm not mistaken, it was a year later that Ron Simmons was the champion.
Yeah. Yep. First African American heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
Man.
Is Rick bigger than Scott here? Like muscle-wise? I don't know. It's close.
That's what I've always thought early on, like Rick was the powerhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But dude, it changed, man.
Scott's pretty good size here, though. He's not little.
Oh, he's definitely, But he always seemed like the more athletic one,
Yeah. He always was more the speed and athleticism.
Frankensteiner and stuff. So.
Yeah. There's a pretty good Frankensteiner later in this match.
Oh, yeah. And the neon tights, it just fits the crazy patterns, the butcher, the singlets. These 2 masked men.
Yeah. Jim Ross is trying to be a guesser of weight at a carnival or something like that.
Yeah. I don't have nothing on these boys, but I believe that one played at Florida State.
That one Seminole there. I mean, wait, what?
I didn't mean that. My bad. Of course, Butch Reed from never mind. Sorry. From Bill Watson. Oh, crap.
I don't know if I'd want to step in between that.
Yeah.
Doom looks fantastic, though. Body-wise, I mean, they're just...
Oh, totally.
Jacked.
And I mean, for a badass tag team, the black pants, black tights, black boots gimmick always works,
I maybe could have took Doom written somewhere on the tights.
Sure.
I don't know. What do you think about the match? I said I kind of liked them earlier, but what do you think?
I do like them. I kind of prefer them, but at the same time, if you're going to get them over...
Yeah, that's true.
I do like them, though. I like them as much as them not having the masks on, but I feel like for the progression of the tag team, they would probably have to take them off anyway, but yeah.
What about like if like when you were trying to introduce them more, you would have brought them on and like had them come out without the masks on, and then like flip a switch when they put the masks on.
Yeah.
Like they're executioners when they put the mask on.
I like that. I like that idea. So it's a kind of a best of both worlds.
Yeah.
It's always funny when you see the two beside, like you see them working. Butch Reed always had a little more, obviously they're 2 different men, so they're going to have 2 different wrestling styles in a sense. But you see Butch Reed, he kind of had more like a straight up and down stance to him, where like Ron was more like the football player,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talking Jim Ross being Ink Master here.
Of course, Rick Steiner got that tattoo down at Lone Star Tattoo in Miami, Florida. Athlete. Tattoo artist was Jim Johnson. Enjoyed it a lot. Got 2 kids. Feeding he's got an ex-wife, some alimony. What, Jim? You're going too far, man.
Scott Steiner was going to be a school teacher. Was he going to teach Steiner math?
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Golly.
53%.
Scott, when he gets big, though, it's like his bicep looks like a softball. Like, it's so round. Like, it looks like I guess it's just the way his muscles are built, because it's like.
Definitely.
Ron Simmons right there in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only bad thing about the mask sometimes is you can get confused about, because they have similar body types. I mean, like, I always thought Ron was much bigger than Butch, but when you look at them here, they're pretty similar. So it's
Butch is a little leaner.
Yeah,
Ron's Ron's just jacked. But yeah, you're right. They are easy, and that's what made them a great deal with the masks on, and
Mm-hmm. Maybe they could have used that more, where you couldn't ever tell who was getting tagged in and out. I can't remember if they did that with them, but
I feel like they did. But it is a great gimmick whenever you switch it up like that.
Yeah, where you can always, especially if you're a heel team, you can just switch in and out and always have the fresh man in. The dog-faced gremlin.
Oh, yeah.
The dog face.
I believe that's Nick Patrick refereeing right there.
Is that a young Nick Patrick?
That is. He got a pretty good 3 count right there, 2 count, whatever.
You should be able to tell by his counting motion.
Yeah. Of course.
As we talked about in our What If episode.
Yeah, our very first What If. We got to get back a What If going. But
yeah.
We got some cool things coming up, some interviews with some wrestlers. Of course, we'll keep doing those, but definitely going to keep a What If in the back. Yeah, but Nick Patrick, son of Jody Hamilton, the assassin.
Oh, that's definitely Nick Patrick.
Yeah.
Was Nancy married to Kevin Sullivan, or were just like?
I want to say so.
I think so too.
Yeah. She did that well.
Sometimes, I liked her with Flair and them, but sometimes I don't think she got like the spotlight enough when she was with Flair. And not that she need to overshine her wrestlers, but Cornette overshone his wrestlers, and Bobby Heenan would sometimes too. But
yeah, it was like Bobby got a pass with that, but some guys hate that when a manager gets any kind of heat that isn't going directly to his wrestler.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation being a former manager. It's really tricky to start to try to funnel it to your wrestler, because it's not always the easiest thing to think of.
Oh, I'm sure.
If she hadn't have been with Flair, we would have never had the woman, oh woman, won't you marry me now?
Marry me now, yeah.
That's solid steel right there.
Solid steel there, Bob. I saw him put it together this morning.
Made fresh from Pittsburgh. Steel workers there. Met a steel worker, Tim Jackson. Tim was there with his best friend, Joe. Joe was, of course, from Cincinnati originally, but moved to Pittsburgh in the fall.
And they nicknamed him Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean Fernandez. It wasn't a Mexican guy, but they knew a guy that was Mexican. Of course, he was from Mexico. Went to the University of Mexico, El Paso. What? Jim, slow down. You're doing it again. I'm sorry. Jim actually knows everything about everyone. It's his curse.
Was Shivani still with WCW MWA at this time, or?
No, I think he was gone at this time because Jim.
Was that when he was in the WWF for a stint?
Yeah, not long at all, but he was there.
Yeah,
I think he did like a Survivor Series or something,
or a Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
him and Jesse Ventura were like,
right. It just didn't fit, dude. It was just not. I love Tony. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm happy he got the opportunity, but it just did not fit to hear his voice. So you got Scotty taking all the heat.
Yeah, hoping to get the hot tag to Rick here in a minute.
Yeah. Nick, look how tall Nick is, man.
Oh, yeah.
Classic. See, now here's where you want to let the wrestler do the choking. A lot of times the manager would jump in and try to choke, but it makes it much better if the wrestler does it there, because with the wrestler doing it, it just gives it more like reality, you know?
I'm at 124.20.
Okay.
Nancy here has got a kind of a Miss Elizabeth vibe there.
Yeah, definitely. Both sadly gone, dude.
Oh, dude.
We're stuck with Sunny.
I mean, she's got 9 lives.
Yeah,
Sunny does apparently. I mean,
I think
I wish her recovery from her addictions and everything like that. But she got to.
Yeah.
You hope she get out of that stuff, man.
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of people that hate her guts because of the way she treated Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not defending any way she's ever done anything. I'm just saying I hope as a human to human, yeah.
But yeah, of course. But back to the matches here. You know, it's so funny.
Back to sunny days.
Yeah, back to sunny days. It's the Halloween show, Judd. It's supposed to be
sorry.
Spooky.
Yeah. Got to get Dad's laugh on there somewhere.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, here they're doing the switch in and out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did do that. Yeah. They don't hook the leg at all.
No. You know, Big E. If you look at Big E, I see Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
They're saying he's healing well. I think he's gone from never going to wrestle again to maybe he will.
I know other wrestlers have had tragic endings to their careers, but man, if he never wrestles again, it'd be a pretty tragic ending.
It will, man.
But I mean, hopefully he can live his life anyway. And
right.
I would think WWE would try to get him involved somehow if he can't.
You would hope. Trips is bringing everybody back, you know?
Trips has got morale high.
He does. He definitely does. Ooh, spike pile driver.
That was a 3 count at least right there if he'd have just counted.
Nick, he does have a slow delivery, doesn't he?
He does.
It's very fundamental sound, but it's definitely it's like, Hogan, I only know one way to count. Sting, I only know one way. If you tell me to speed it up, it's going to mess everything up.
You want a slow count? I can give you that. Well, I guess I can give you that.
And it's still the same. 1, 2, 3. It's like a pitcher who can't do any throwing without his windup, you know?
Yeah.
Boom.
Rick Steiner, House of Fire.
Yeah. Look at what's that muscle that's on the top of right above your bicep? Is that the delts?
Deltoids, yeah.
Is that so? Like his deltoids are huge, man.
Oh yeah.
He's got
all four of these men got pretty good deltoids. Look at this Frankensteiner.
I just always felt like Rick's it was beautiful, but they kind of missed it, man.
I know. It was like Magnum telling us that they missed that thing Sting did when he was calling it.
It's the second power slam we've seen of the night there. Here she comes, causing havoc.
Hey, if you want a drinking game for this watch along, every time they talk about the Thunderdome being electrified, you take a drink.
Oh man, we'd be hammered already.
Yeah, but you need to watch the whole show if you're gonna really get it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, the loaded mask.
Oh,
headbutt. He's out. It's just a pack of Pall Malls.
And a 3 count for Doom.
Yeah.
With aid from Nancy.
Yeah.
Woman.
They win their first match as a tag team. The Team of Doom. Gary Michael Capetta, very underrated. Love that voice.
Oh, yeah. Love his voice.
Yeah. That might be somebody I could get on the show in the future. He's active on social media.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Well, that is it for the Doom match. Of course, they win in their very first match as a tag team with the loaded mask from, rest in peace, Miss Nancy Benoit.
Who can, how many matches have been won because of a loaded mask?
It's probably not many. I mean, there's got to be a few.
Probably more in like Mexico where the luchador stuff is.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, well, we are going to be right back after these messages from our buddies podcast. Check it out. We'll be right back with Road Warriors versus the Skyscrapers.
In a world that has been completely divided for so long, 2 movie fans have decided to unite for the people and the betterment of mankind. One, an action movie buff. The other, a horror movie fanatic. Together, they will try to bridge the gap of both genres into one podcast with their battle cry, "Give me back my action and horror movies." Listen along as Charlie and Nate alternate each week talking about action and horror movies they cherish, mostly from the VHS era. Also, including some modern examples that felt like the movies they grew up with by answering the battle cry, "Give me back my action and horror movies." Available wherever you listen to podcasts. Look them up on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, we're back with Halloween Havoc 1989 watch along. Again, we've watched the Midnight Express and the Samoan SWAT team, the Steiners and Doom, but now it's getting down to 2 of the last matches that we're going to watch for this one. This one is the Road Warriors versus the Skyscrapers. Now, of course, the Road Warriors had Paul Ellering with them. The Skyscrapers, in their better form, I think, Sid and Spivey with the always dastardly Teddy Long. Talk about this match a little bit before we play the interview. Juck, what do you think?
Okay, if you're looking for pure wrestling, this isn't your match. If you're looking for 4 big guys beating each other that looks like it could be a real fight, this is the match for you. These guys hit some moves, and not everything is smooth in this match, but I want you to pay special attention to the pop that the Road Warriors get here. This is what's known as Road Warriors pop. They blow the lid off of Philadelphia, and to be a heel town and to be the face team coming in here and getting this it's pretty big.
Oh yeah. You know, Ole Anderson said one time, if you got 2 heel tag teams and they're wrestling each other and one of the tag teams are badasses, they're going to choose the badasses. Now, in this case, they're both badasses, but we're going to start off. The time is 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 50 seconds. If you take your Peacock app or whatever you're watching it on. Again, if you're watching it on VHS, you get extra points. And
you're a legend.
You're a legend.
You're a legend.
We truly think you're a legend. So 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 40 seconds. It's the start of a Chris Cruz interview with the Road Warriors. We're going to listen in right now on 3, 2, 1, play.
Are standing by live here in Philadelphia, just minutes away from the Road Warriors Skyscrapers match. Hawk, you are considered the best tag team in the history of professional wrestling, but can even the Road Warriors defeat the Skyscrapers?
Well, you know, we've been underdogs all our life, and there's some critics out there that think we're underdogs tonight. Well, the people out there aren't stupid. They know better. The Skyscrapers. Hey, who builds buildings, Paul? People do. And who tears them down? People. Well, we're a couple of people that are going to reduce them to rubble. Snack on danger, dine on death. Dead men don't make money. Tell them, Adam. You know, a lot of people in our sport today judge themselves on how much they can take by the hands of the Road Warriors. Not by anybody else, but by the Legion of Doom. That's why we're the #1 team in professional wrestling as Skyscrapers. You ain't gonna change that.
All right, fans, let's go back to the ring now. Road Warriors and Skyscrapers live from Philadelphia.
Man, what a great team. What a great, never the most eloquent worded folks, but at the same time,
not what they were there for, though.
Snack on danger, dine on death.
Mm-hmm.
He's always getting those lines in, and I love it. Here comes a couple. Dear Lord. Did you see that guy shove Sid? I mean, the huevos on these people.
You're lucky Spivey didn't kill one of them.
Seriously.
My favorite Skyscrapers moment is just look up Skyscrapers versus Jobbers on YouTube.
You can actually listen to Wolfie D and I do it in a watch along, by the way, if you want to. Back a few, that was a special request by me. I said, all right, this is not going to be long. But
listen to this.
Oh, dude. So a lot of people may hear this and say, this is Iron Man by Black Sabbath, but it's not. That's why they're able to play it, because this is actually a WCW altered version that I've played several times on the podcast previously. But this is actually the WCW version of Iron Man, which is, it's basically like down, 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 down. It's down, down, down. It's just a little different. The resolving notes are a little different, but it's cool. And then, it kind of reminds me of Diamond Dallas Page's version of Teen Spirit,
Yeah.
So,
love the shin pads here on the.
Oh, dude, totally.
I'd be scared to reach out and touch them and get a spike through your hand.
Seriously, can you imagine? You've seen several interviewers almost get it in the eyeball. Gene was really good at getting around those. Tony Schiavone was too. Okay, I'm going to say something extremely unpopular, but my favorite Road Warriors did not wear the spikes. So I was more of a vest collar guy. The spikes were awesome, but it also reminds me of mostly them being the Legion of Doom in the WWF, But there's no
the WWF never could get the WWF never could get them right. So
yeah, you're exactly right. This is extremely badass, though. If you look at it, it's black. I guess maybe I didn't like the red spikes as much, but the black spikes.
I like the black spikes. The black spikes are my favorite.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that Spivey and Humongous?
Yeah. Dude, I've said it a million times before, but if you told somebody who's never seen a professional wrestler and you just described what they did, they would probably draw Sid. Look at Sid. Oh, dude.
Did you see that mask?
I want that. How do we get that?
Well, Jim Ross says it's a Great Muta mask. I was like, that's obviously Hulk.
Jim might be on acid right now.
It's a little bit different paint for Animal here. I like it.
It is. I do too.
But it's a little bit different.
It's a little more filled in spots that it normally isn't.
You got a little bit of a botch over the top rope clothesline there.
Yeah. But you got to know, Spivey's like, you're going to have to do it because I'm not going to do it for you.
Yeah. Sid might be your number one pick on intramural softball for the WCW team. Freddie loves some softball.
Oh, he did. But, dude, all them Memphis guys love softball, love football. You know, Jerry Calhoun, we told a story about him breaking Lawler's leg on an end-around play for tackle football. Broke his leg. He was out for a year. Goodness. Yeah. The referee, who luckily was his best friend, broke Jerry Lawler's leg. Jerry's like, I told y'all not to play that football. Y'all was going to get hurt. Look at this.
Look at these just collisions, man.
It's like the immovable force versus the irresistible force versus the immovable object.
We got Nick Patrick reffing again.
Yeah. So is it Tommy Young and Nick only, probably? Who knows?
Well, Bruno's in the main event.
Well, yeah. But I tell you, guys, I'm going to referee right down the middle, I tell you.
Mm-hmm. I think Animal looks terrific with that paint here, though. I mean, honestly.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Incredible. Animal looks good, too. You know what I'm saying? He's looking in great shape. Hawk is just always in great shape. Well, what's funny is I always crack up at Hawk how high he pulled his pants up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he was worried about his muffin top or something.
So, yeah.
There's nobody ever going to say, hey, nice muffin top to Hawk.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Dude.
At one point, Jim Ross says something about Animal's the more subdued one of the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
something like that.
Right. I mean, Hawk might be the first person that sold anything. Look at that.
Yeah.
They're all doing that selling on the run, kind of like the Undertaker did, where they're not really selling, but they're keeping the. Look at it right back up. It's like, hey, we're supposed to do that, not you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Animal were like probably 6 inches taller?
Oh my goodness.
I've heard it said before by them. I think they're the Hulk Hogan tag team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jim Ross like, if this match goes past 10 minutes, we'll have to get retimed on the pay-per-view. I mean,
yeah. We'll have to talk to the cable companies to buy extra minutes.
Yeah. Because he's like, these boys can't go more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, seriously. How much no selling can you do?
Yeah.
Teddy Long checking on his man. Sid is just massive.
So at this point, too, and they'll drop it several times to you here, the Skyscrapers are undefeated.
Right.
Or at least never been pinned.
Yeah. Teddy Long carrying around the key to the city of Tampa or something.
Yeah. Paul Ellering, if you've never seen the Dark Side of the Ring about the Road Warriors or anything like that, Paul Ellering was a true manager for them, not just a manager on TV, but he booked them in places, Japan, wherever, and he, probably booked hotels, everything for them. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to be a manager of that level, but what's funny is he got paid the same as they did, I think.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, they argued like, hey, we all make that amount.
I like the reason that Hawk has the hair that way is because Animal had his cut like that, and he's like, well, we need to, if we bend our heads together, match up. So he shaved his.
It's like it interlocked. Yeah. Is the reverse Hawk.
Animal's like, well, if you want to, again,
you can do that one because I'm doing this one. I mean, if you think about it, it's like a fryer.
Yeah, but who's gonna say anything to him? I mean,
not a soul. The Warlords and Barbarian did the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and Warlords was horrible. You know what I'm saying? It was like Tufts, whereas Hawks is like at least rows. You know,
well, it's like he kept it too long or something like that.
He did, exactly. He let it grow too long. I love the Powers of Pain. I think they are underrated to the nth degree, and I wish they could have stuck around longer as a tag team because I just love those guys. I know they were limited on everything. They needed a mouthpiece. There was just a lot of things needed by them, and maybe they were a little bit too big to be movable like the Road Warriors were, you know. But
yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they were just unfortunately the Road Warriors who could never get there. They could never get there.
They were the Road Warrior Junior, you know, where Demolition was Road Warrior's son. They were a little different, but the Powers of Pain were like they had to be their dad. Does that make any sense to anybody? You know, if you're the son of the Road Warriors, you know.
What was it you said about that Demolition is like your shop teachers or something like that?
Yeah, that's what they are. You got Road Warriors who are like badass biker dudes, and if without their paint, they still are scary. But if you got Demolition without their paint, they're like your shop teachers.
Is that like the original F5 that Sid just pulled off there?
Well, it's a whirly bird. That's a Wolfie D finisher. But yeah, Al Perez is the first person I saw do that. But yeah, I think you're right. It's like the limited version of the F5.
Yeah.
Or it's the whirly bird modification. F5.
There wasn't as big a, back in this day, everybody didn't have like the awesome finisher that everybody has today kind of.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, because, you know, you did have the Doomsday Device, the Heart Attack, these kinds of things. But, dude, I think finishes are a little more thought about, you know, more false finishes these days adds to more of the, you know, they did fewer false finishes back in the day.
Right. Oh, definitely.
You know, like we recently watched the Piper versus Valentine match, the dog collar match. We watched that, it was about 6 months ago or so on the Wolfie podcast. And the finish on that, the match was great, but the finish on it sucked. It was just like, golly. But what that was is we're used to all those false finishes and all these build up to these start, stops, hope, comeback, all that stuff. And in that match, the finish of that match sucked, but the match itself was awesome.
It's like a movie or a show that everything up to the finish is awesome, and then you get to the finish and you're like, that's the payoff?
Yeah, exactly. Like, Sid looked like he was going in for the splash, but Hulk dropped down, had to modify that into the knee. It's funny.
Yeah, like I said, this match is not going to be
right
5-star, but
right, and I think that's one thing about this show that it, like I said before, it lacked a 5-star match. But hey, you know what? I think it's great, and it's also Halloween Havoc for Halloween, and we do wish y'all a happy Halloween out there.
Yeah, it definitely tells a good story, though.
Definitely.
Man, when Sid injures his leg in the late WCW run,
no thank you.
Oh my good, dude.
It's like the worst.
But dude, why do they have him jumping off the middle rope delivering a kick?
Yeah, I mean,
somebody said they wanted him to have like a move. I don't know. I was like, that's stupid. Whoever wanted that.
I told you. Oh God.
Exactly.
Old Sid, if Sid would have been better on the microphone and could have carried his own, I think he would have been, and probably didn't want to play softballs, but he probably could have been
right.
A multi-time world champion.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll kill you!
We're live, pal. Teddy Long made it from referee to manager to general manager of SmackDown, where he specialized in 6, 8, or 10-man tag team matches.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't see the tag. Nick Patrick calling it down the middle. He didn't see the tag.
I remember as a fan that always frustrated me so much back in the day,
Especially for like the Rock and Roll Express or something like that.
Oh, totally.
When Ricky'd be basically dead selling, and they're like, "Oh, he got to Robert finally." No, he didn't.
Hawk basically did a split right there to get his foot up to Spivey's face. That was impressive. I probably could do the Hawk haircut.
I couldn't do the full Animal.
Yeah. You've got the Arn Anderson, so I would just...
Yeah, I've got the Arn Anderson. I tell people all the time, I was like, Jimmy got his hairline from our mother's side of the family. I got mine from Dad. So
yeah. So like a more male pattern,
Yeah.
Oh, the key.
The key.
The key to the city of Greensboro. Just use that to win. It's heavy metal.
Yeah, just like I said. I always liked it when Animal didn't have his paint on anymore. You could see kind of what he looked like.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought it was amazing. I always thought it was amazing as a kid.
Sting too, we were always like, Sting would wear sunglasses a lot if it were like a interview that he didn't have his makeup on or whatever. We were like, oh my God, I kind of see what Sting looks like. That's cool. And then Hawk, there's the key to the
heavy metal.
Yeah. There's a key to the Omni right there.
Yeah.
Teddy Long got the key to the city of Buckhead.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Wow. Again, that ain't Steamboat Flair, but by God, it was pretty good.
It pops the nostalgia.
It definitely does. It definitely does. I love it. All right. Look at this replay here. Hawk, that clothesline. Spivey sold it,
Do you think they could have got one of them up in the Doomsday Device?
With like their legs would be touching the ground still.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Animal would be like, okay, just steady.
Animal would have probably took care of me, wouldn't have done the jobber finish.
Totally. Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, with that, we'll be right back. And we've got one more match in this watch along. This is the Thunderdome match. Again, it's Ric Flair and Sting with Terry Funk and Great Muta. We got,
and it's electrified. If you didn't know that, man.
Hey, yeah, it's electrified. It's the Thunderdome, Bruno Sammartino, all that and more. We'll be right back with the final match of this Halloween Havoc 1989 watch along on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Welcome to the Monster Movie Stomp Down, where twice a month we review monster movies from all corners of the planet. Join me, Sludge.
And I went to watch it the other night, and she's like, "Why are you watching this? You can quote this movie line for line." Like, that's very accurate.
My co-host, Mark.
Don't ask me to do a stomp down on this because it's zero.
Okay, dude. Ruben, what's your stomp down rate?
And our brother from Texas, Ruben.
It's just, I'm like, wait a minute. They tricked me into watching this.
That's what I felt like.
As we give you the history, our review, and the stomp down rating of some of the best and worst monster movies around. Available through the Podbean app, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Amazon. Make sure and check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
If you're a pro wrestling fan, there's something for everyone at the Cheap Heat TV Podcast Network. From the Pro Wrestling Discussion Show, Cheap Heat TV Live, to the interview show, the Jackson Interaction Podcast with the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson, to the silliness of the Whitey Jenkins Show, and the brand new Zip, Xander's Irresistible Podcast with Charles Anders. You can check them all out and much more over at cheapheattvlive.com.
Gary Hart
and Terry Funk have joined me. Just exactly how far are you willing to risk your men tonight in the electrified Thunderdome?
Absolutely and totally. There is no quitting in the J-Tex organization, and tonight, for the very first time, Mr. J of J-Tex will be at ringside with us, Terry.
You know, I want to say one thing. You know, Winston Churchill said, never say die. Gary Hart says electrify. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to start a new dance craze here in Philadelphia. It's going to be the 10,000 watt boogie featuring Ric Flair and Sting here tonight. And besides that, we're going to introduce something new. Fried chicken. I'm talking about Ric Flair when we push him up against that electrified fence.
All right, we're back to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling with Halloween Havoc 1989 watch along. We're going to start now with the Thunderdome match. This is Bruno Sammartino as a referee, Ric Flair and Sting with Ole Anderson in their corner, and Terry Funk and Great Muta with Gary Hart in their corner. The biggest thing about this match is what, Jared?
It's electrified.
Yeah, buddy. We're going to start this match at 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 25 seconds. Now, this starts with a Sting and Ric Flair interview. We're going to start that and let y'all listen to it along with us here. So at 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 30 seconds. Count us down, Judd.
3, 2, 1, play.
Dan Spivey and Sid Vicious. Well, what can you say? We are ready for that big Thunderdome match. Ole Anderson, my question for you, at what point will you throw in the towel?
You see this towel wrapped around my arm about 10 times. There's no way. You better get ready, Gary Hart. This towel is going to be like glue on my right arm. When I get out there, the only thing I'm going to be doing is watching Sting and Flair knock the crap out of Mr. Muta and Terry Funk. Get ready, because your towel is going to be dropped in that ring. I guarantee.
Ric Flair, are you willing to risk your future in professional
wrestling? I'm amazed. Throw the towel in. Here's how it goes. This is the Thunderdome. This is the big time. This is the National Wrestling Alliance. And Sting and Ric Flair stand for a cause tonight. And the cause is the end of Terry Funk and the Great Muta. Electrified, yes. 10,000 people, yes. Nationwide, yes. Tonight, Funk and Muta. Woo! Pay their dues, right, Steiner?
It's Halloween, and guess what? It's going to be full of havoc. It's going to be different because we're talking something different than a regular wrestling match, and I love to be different. You know that. Halloween Havoc and electricity. It's just seconds away now, Nature Boy.
All right, fans, here we are. Thunderdome now live in Philadelphia.
Oh, man. What a great interview. Really just sets them apart, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also funny because it's like kind of like, you know, a guy and his little brother with Rick and Sting like that, you know.
Yeah. It's one thing I want you to do is pick up how many times you can hear Gary Hart say Muta in this.
Muta. I love Gary Hart, Daddy. That's not even my best Gary Hart. He's the boogeyman.
But just say Muta. Just try to see how many times you can pick
Muta.
that up.
I'll listen for the Mutas.
That might be a drinking game just for this match.
That's hilarious.
JR will tell you all about Bruno Sammartino's championship run during this match.
Of course, Bruno Sammartino, the great longtime World Wrestling Wrestling champion. Look at Gary, man. I know I don't look like his face, but I tried. You know, I wish I could have managed Cahagas. He's like the kind of the going Muta now.
Muta's having his final match or farewell tour or something in there right now.
Yeah, and Sting's going to be his tag team partner. Which, my God, they had some of the best matches ever, honestly. They were so good.
Dude, some of those matches
are incredible.
Mm-hmm. He's a TV champ right here, right?
Yeah, I believe so. If you can tell, it's the red belt there. You know, something's funny.
That's Arn's belt. That's Arn's belt.
That's Arn's belt. Damn it. What's funny is JR will always say on his podcast that Muta was very popular with the ladies. God, Funk looks like $1 million here too, doesn't he?
Oh, dude. Dude, you took the words out of my mouth. He's never been like a body guy or anything like that, but he looks about some of the best shape I'd ever seen him in.
Well, honestly, if you think about it, around the same time, Roddy Piper looked the exact same way. You know, they were jacked, looking good. It's because I think they were in Hollywood, dude.
Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have that wrestler bulk, but they looked great.
Lean. He looks like a lean good right here.
Yeah, to Hollywood standards, he's going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, not Arnold, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone, probably something like that.
Yeah, but if you look at Piper, he did They Live. If you look at Piper and his, Terry Funk at the same time, they look very similar in their build as far as, it's like a Hollywood thing or something, but.
Was that Kurt Hennig talking trash to Terry Funk on the front row?
It probably was.
It wasn't, but it kind of looked like him.
Did he slap his chewing gum at him?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
This music so reminds me of the Ultimate Warrior's theme.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know enough about music as far as like everything to know but there's some it's different obviously, but it's.
Yeah. Look at Stinger, man. Gosh, dude, we've got to do a what if Sting would have had the Ultimate Warrior position.
Oh, let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back.
If you didn't know, this match is electrified, so
just in case, make sure, Jared. Just keep reminding them.
I'm going to.
Muta.
I felt like in Sting's interview, they're like, "Hey, buddy, can you get Halloween Havoc, the name of the show, put into your interview, though?"
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "It's Halloween, and it's going to be Havoc."
Yeah. So, Jared, does anybody best describe us growing up as brothers? I'm the Ric Flair, and you're the Sting.
Yeah, probably. That's right. You're the heel and I'm the baby face.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You're like, I'll own that.
Sure.
Now, did Flair's music start out a little different there? Or is it just me?
Well, it didn't have the woo to it, but.
Well, I know, but I'm not even. It's just, I thought it started out a little differently either way. Maybe I just not too many times heard the very, very first of it.
Yeah. Old Strauss.
Now, you go in there and count how many times that towel's wrapped around Ole Anderson's hand.
Count it.
He said at least 10 times.
It's there 10 times. Ricky Morton said Ole Anderson's so angry he didn't even like ice cream.
Oh, gosh.
He's like, God, I swear Ole don't even like ice cream.
Hey, you remember that guy, the Shockmaster? He sounds a lot like Ole Anderson.
Yes, he said, he sounds a lot like the Black Scorpion too.
Yeah.
I think there's a tie there.
Correlation, yeah.
Yeah. What if the Black Scorpion is the Shockmaster? Sting. It's like I can't do it. It's like if you took
it's like Yoda, like
Ole Anderson doing his best Frank Oz impersonation.
Yeah.
Sting.
Sting.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Davey boy, we are going to beat Sid Vicious.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. I had to work on it. I could get it maybe if I.
Yeah.
Look, that's wrapped 10 times around Ole Anderson's arm. Count them.
Count them. That means he probably doesn't have any circulation in his fingers right now.
His hands turning purple.
Yeah, boys, I tell you.
Hey, that's the Flair. That's the Flair babyface. He's got the light blue trunks.
Yeah,
that's the Galoob figure.
Yeah, it's great. What's funny is if this, this is dropping down slowly, obviously, but if it just dropped down real fast, Bill Apter is dead. Bill Apter is dead.
But we're going to go on.
Match must go on. Two guys from Japan that were overshooting the movie.
They've got
Muta.
They've got like some cobweb type stuff to make it look spooky. And that's what catches fire on the way down.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't think that through.
They did not. That's what I said at the beginning, campy horror, gimmicks. It's like what you buy at the dollar store to your house.
When you click on Thunderdome match in Wikipedia, it takes you to Hell in a Cell match.
Takes you to Hell in a Cell?
So does that mean this is the first Hell in a Cell match?
I mean, it is actually, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Punjabi prison match.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe you look at it, looks even like the WWE blue steel cage,
And if you didn't know, it's electrified.
Only difference is it's electrified. Of course, Funk and Onita, their explosion match, death match in Japan for.
That's where something catches on fire, I think, right there, where you see that sparks.
Yeah, if you see it. Oh, God, they've caught it on fire. I wish I could do a good Terry Funk impersonation. My old buddy Ken Steele, rest in peace, was amazing. He had an amazing Terry Funk impersonation. It was just the best.
What's Funk trying to do here? I don't know.
Seriously, he's getting shocked right now, apparently.
No, it's only the top that's electrified.
Oh, yeah, okay. Look at Funk. What's he doing? That nut. It's hilarious.
Yeah, right there. There's that stuff on fire.
Oh, my God. Doug Dillinger.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God, man, put it out. If you think about it, though, that really did set it up as like legit,
It probably really did. That's true. I didn't think about that when I'd watched it previously.
Or it might be just the light.
There's Muta spraying the green mist on it. Now he doesn't use that in this match anywhere. Do you think that was his one try? And he's like, well, got to use it here.
I blew that.
Yeah. He's like, give me a little time. I'll be back.
Twist my gut in a different way. But it might be the black bile this time. Oh, man. Not the great for the hard cam. That hard cam shot is not the best. It's like.
How many opening shoulder bumps do you think that Flair's taken?
Yeah. I mean, probably a ton. I mean, probably thousands. Feeding Sting there. Oh, look at that smacks.
Bruno's not really the biggest fan of Flair. I wonder what he was thinking.
This guy, this nature boy, I don't like him. I didn't like Buddy Rogers either. I tell you this, you'll get out and we will do this straight. That's a horrible Bruno, sorry.
Is it like a Russian Bruno?
Yes. This guy.
Bruno looks pretty solid here, though. Still,
I mean, he just recently had an LJN figure at this point, So
he had a brief comeback in WWF, didn't he?
Right. I think that was to try to get his son over.
It didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. He just didn't have the same Plus, it was a different time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno was like Babe Ruth at that point, but
yeah, you know, Bruno, like you said, is Babe Ruth at that point, but unfortunately, he's probably not looked upon as Babe Ruth just because they didn't have the exposure that like Flair and Hogan would and everything like that.
Right, exactly. But I mean, it was a good get for them, and it makes sense. But you know, that's the one thing NWA did a lot. You know, they had like Gene Kaninsky ref a Dusty Rhodes Ric Flair match. I think that was Flair's like second title win or something. Gene Kaninsky was the ref, and then now they've got Bruno coming in, and it's just, to me, it's funny because you've got
really spending billionaire Ted's money.
Yeah, not the greatest idea for refs, but it works, you know.
Well, you kind of do think if anybody's going to be straight down the middle, it's going to be Bruno. I mean, like,
sure, yeah, yeah. Carolina blue trunks there. No, that's your favorite. That chop. The crowd wasn't wooing at every chop at this point. If you notice.
the crowd is into this match, though. I mean, like,
oh, definitely.
You know, a lot of matches in a cage they may not be that into because view can be obstructed a little bit, but
right,
they're definitely into this match.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing has happened like it at this point, you know. Oh, there goes the dropping of the Blade Runners.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I think his partner has not progressed like he has.
Yeah.
That's funny. I think he was last seen as the Dingo Warrior in World Class Championship Wrestling. Which that World Class movie is going to be awesome. So Luke Hawx is going to be like a director, or not a director of it. He's going to be probably doing his stunt coordinator thing. It's got the kid that was Lip from the show Shameless playing Kerry Von Erich. It's got Zac Efron as Kevin Von Erich, and then a guy that looks exactly like David Von Erich.
Really?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And they're casting it for stunt workers right now to, you know, get guys that can work and look like those guys. But it's a real deal movie happening, and I'm so stoked to see that.
Is it going to be like a movie theater? Is it going to be like Netflix?
Yeah, movie theater. I mean, it may be on Netflix. I'm not sure where it's going to land, but I'm so excited for that to happen. It really shows you, man, that, I mean, I've always thought that World Class story, Von Erich story, could be a great movie. But it just had to be the right time, and now it appears that they're really going all in on it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great time to have a podcast about wrestling.
yeah, absolutely.
Sting and Muta. What a great combo.
Sting trying to shove him through the cage, it looks like.
Literally, you get out. I don't fit. Funk is like, I'll go with you.
Dennis is a Capricorn.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I think Muta needs to share his makeup with all the fellas because his doesn't leave. Like, you know. course, he did more whole face makeup, like that Sting and Hawk and Animal and all them. They did partial face, but I love that. That's the people's elbow right there. But Muta did it great.
Muta had some stank on it.
Yeah, he definitely had some stank on it.
I love when they're throwing people out of the ropes here because they don't throw them out full force because they'll hit the cage.
Yeah. Flair and Muta, also a great combo, you know? You really can't lose with any pairing in this match.
No, it's one thing I don't understand about this match fully, because it's no disqualification, is why are they doing it like a traditional tag match?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it turns into a little bit of more of a Texas Tornado match here in a second.
Tornado, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, why is this a traditional tag match?
Why just stand by the rules if there's no disqualification?
Exactly, it's no disqualification. Do anything you want.
It's like they're doing it out of courtesy or something. Well, we just supposed to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's a fair thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. That was one thing I loved about Muta, was just those sharp, quick moves. You know, Kenny Omega tries to do some things like that, you know?
Yeah. The pants are very Shinsuke Nakamura-ish.
Yeah. I wish Shinsuke.
I'm sure Shinsuke took some.
Yeah, I agree. I wish Shinsuke would get the opportunity to be more, because I love watching Nakamura, man.
Mm-hmm. It's almost one of them things. Do you worry that he's been kind of not used wisely enough to be realistic?
Yeah, maybe.
Contender.
Maybe.
The old bulldog, you don't see that too much these days.
It's one of my favorite moves, bulldogs. I love them. That was like a Cena bulldog right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just Cena. You know what I'm saying? Cena.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Bulldog was always one of my favorites to see, though. I just loved him.
Sting looks like $1 million right here, though.
Dude, okay, let's just imagine this. What if you switched up, you know, and had Cena do the Sting gimmick? Not necessarily in the same time, but had Cena kind of done that. It's hard to question that, because Cena's one of the greatest names of all sports entertainment time, you know, but he kind of did the Sting gimmick a little bit.
Yeah.
I always, you know, one thing that I realized from wrestling is a lot of the guys, how long it took to tie their boots. And I feel like if I were a pro wrestler, I would definitely wear Sting boots and not. I mean, even though I love the classic tie, you know, the wing tips that Arn and Tully wore, or the great, you know, boots that Rick wore, there's so much time you spend tying them.
Yeah.
That the boots like the Sting wore, I think, almost make more sense.
Gary Hart will never throw in the towel unless Buddha's in danger.
Oh, Holy, it's not quite wrapped as much, brother. Did you get some feeling back in your fingers?
Only that looks like it's only wrapped 4 times, not 10.
What's your deal, buddy? What's your deal?
Ollie's kind of dressed like a yuppie.
Yeah.
Not kind of what you would think with Ollie. Oh man, that chop had some pop to it.
Now, one thing Gary Hart said in his interview was, "You will see ringside, the J and J-Tex Corporation will be there." And I don't see any J from J-Tex Corporation.
Was that the guy that walked down the aisle with him?
I know, but it was like they did nothing about him.
Oh, I know. I just did. I'm saying, is that who it was supposed to be?
I think it must have been. You know, daggone Terry Funk almost did the tree of woe on himself right there in the.
Yeah, he does it a couple times here near the end. Hangs himself upside down by his legs.
Yeah, yeah. He just got shocked. If you grew up in the South around farms, you either got cut with barbed wire or you got shocked with an electric fence. If you're lucky, you've done
got both.
Yeah.
I have done both.
And I have done both as well.
And we're not really what you would call farm boys.
No, we're not. We grew up around them though.
Yeah.
Our family has had them.
I've still got a scar to this day from barbed wire, so
I do too. It's on my knee. You got a bad one.
On my back, yeah.
Yeah. That was some sharp barbed wire. I think it was brand new. That was the lucky part.
yeah, definitely.
But we were like trying to sneak through the fence to try to get, and we were like, we can do this. And I cut
shortcut.
My leg. Yeah, shortcut. Idiots.
There's Muda's paint's gone a little bit there. You see that?
Yeah, I see it now.
I don't know why they're climbing this except to get electrocuted.
Come on, fucker.
Because they supposedly can't get out.
Yeah. Flair chopping him. That's horrible. Get a man electrocuted and chopping at the same time. That's what he was doing. He was setting up that spot right there. Flair's like Tarzan here.
Yeah. My question is, I assume Flair's calling this match, or to some ability, but like, who call? I mean, like, is there two callers in this match?
I think it might be the point of they don't have to do that as much.
Okay.
You just want to kind of direct. Sting had Muda, his gooch right there.
Look at the snot hanging out of Terry Funk's nose.
It's like Jim Duggan right there. Oh, God, help me fight forever. Help me. Oh, Die Hard is the greatest movie.
It is. And it's a Christmas movie, too.
It is the greatest movie of all time. Now, really, in my opinion, the greatest movie of all time is Goodfellas, but we'll get onto that in another episode. Have you seen Goodfellas, Jet?
Yeah. I mean, it's not my all-time favorite, but it's a great movie. I mean,
yeah. OG Sopranos. OG Sopranos.
Yeah. I was contemplating what my favorite movie of all time is, but I don't know. We'll talk about it a different time. But
yeah. May not ever fit into this podcast.
Yeah. Golly, throwing them chops.
Oh, man. Just firing them. Listen. Pat, 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 pat.
That's a good name for something, the designated Terminator.
The designated Terminator.
Like, there's Sting doing some Tarzan work.
Yeah.
It's making a little more sense with Sting doing this, but I just don't know why Terry Funk's just staying there either.
He's like, I'm going to take a break.
Jim Ross, how many times have you seen somebody's leg snap in the figure four?
Yeah. How many? Count it. There's Sting, zero paint on his face.
Mm-hmm. No. I'm going to hog tie your leg here, Sting.
I'm going to do it. It would be very tough to hog tie somebody hanging in the air like that. Kind of like an Indian deathlock right there, almost.
Yeah. Might be a wrist hold right there, too.
Oh, completely.
That's like, here's the figure 8, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not really, but.
It's a great move, though. Punk has done that the whole match. It's going to be hard since I have this wrapped around my hand so many times.
They had this wrapped around 10 times. If I drop this towel, does it count?
Jim Ross just said half hitch and a hooey.
Yeah.
For all of our cowboys out there.
Is this the Meltzer driver?
Yeah. That is a very safe pile driver right there.
That looked like the better pile driver than the Meltzer driver, though.
Yeah. Pile driver is tough, man. Lawler did a good one. You know, Undertaker did his own version of one.
My always criticism with the Undertaker's one, though, it never looked like anybody hit the mat with it.
Yeah, because, dude, if they did...
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying that's why it never made, like, complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Except Hogan hit the mat with it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You got me, brother.
You got me.
That was an awesome spot right there for Sting.
Yeah, but didn't Hogan halfway screw Undertaker over because of that, making him sound like he's unsafe?
Yeah.
Dude, we can make a whole show on how dastardly Hogan was sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to save his own spot. And it's understandable in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, you can... It's probably, it's like going mad with power. I mean, have you ever tried to go mad without power?
Yeah. It's true. Fried wonton. Dang.
I know. Good day. That's probably a list of regrets saying.
Yeah. Just call Paul White Big Show some more, Jim. Don't call him a fried wonton. Yeah, here's the knee. I love this move. Love this. SmackDown, here comes the pain. This was Jimmy's setup to the figure 4. I mean, you got to go up here for the show and the crowd, but man, it doesn't lead to the best action, you know?
Well, and I think they missed some of it too because of that.
Right. You're exactly right. So he's doing it right in front of Gary Hart, and then he grabs Muda. He's distracted. Smack him. Now, explain to me again, the designated Terminator, what does that mean? He can call the match?
They terminate the match by throwing in a towel.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. So it's
what does Jim Ross say there about an Australian rules tag team match?
Saying it's more like an Australian rules tag team match.
I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought of it more as a tornado tag team match.
Maybe he doesn't know what it means either. Well, no, he said it started out as a Australian rules tag team match.
Okay.
Watch Bruno kind of getting away here of one of these when Sting does this off the top rope.
I tell you this, guy, do not go.
It's not this one. It must be the next one.
Yeah. I'm okay. You got me good, son. I'm all right.
Right here, watch this. Bruno's like totally in the way here.
He's like, wonder if he's supposed to be in the way almost. But
well, he's supposed to be there for Muda to do this, I guess.
Yeah. This guy, don't you come in here.
And here's the... Watch closely.
Ole still got his.
He only had it wrapped once, I think, there at the end.
Yeah. I'm tired of holding it 10 times around my hand. Wow.
But a good, entertaining match and great competitors. And like I said, it's to think that 3 of these guys that wrestled in this match have had a match in 2022.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And Funk would if he could. You know he would be wrestling if he could.
No, Funk definitely would if he could.
God bless Terry Funk. And God bless all these guys because, I mean, it's incredible stuff. You know, they took something that was probably pipe dream of somebody, this match. And
you think the fire marshal's concerned with this?
Probably. But, well, all right. Well, that is it. Look at this. Yeah.
Flair even raises his leg right there. Like,
yeah. Wonder what that was for. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Muda, Miss Bruno. Bruno pops him. Abruzzi, Italy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, he's from Abruzzi, Italy via Pennsylvania.
Oh, Gary Hart didn't have it wrapped 10 times.
Yeah, that's right. He gets his jaw rocked by Ole. I thought at first, I remember when I watched this at first, I thought Ole tore it from him and threw it and kept his. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just he punched him, so.
Well, the camera isn't very good. You'd think the camera would try to, I mean, one thing you say, Vince would have had the camera showing exactly when it happened. Like,
that is exactly right. And that's, I guess, why everything is so scripted nowadays, is so that you can have that, you know? So,
yeah.
But anyway, well, that was it, you know, for Halloween Havoc 1989. Well, I tell you what, Sheik, that was a lot of fun, man. I'm glad we did that. Halloween Havoc 89. You had a good idea to watch that. We were sitting at a Mexican restaurant, Los Arcos in Abingdon, Virginia, and you were like, what if we did this? And I said, I love it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we needed a Halloween episode. Halloween Havoc 1989 isn't perfect. We may do this every year. Hey, if the numbers do well on this one, we might do this again next year with the Halloween Havoc 1989.
Yeah, do Halloween Havoc every year, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just be 33 years off everyone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It was a great time. I enjoyed the matches. You know, probably nothing outstanding. My favorite match probably is the Samoans versus Midnights and Dr. Death. But
yeah,
all the matches are worth it. I mean, the only match I would skip totally if I was watching it through the whole thing would be the Tommy Rich Cuban Assassin.
Yeah.
I mean, they even called the guy, saying he started out wrestling as Fidel. I was like, oh. I mean, I guess he did. I don't know much about the Cuban Assassin, so
right, me either. Yeah, but hey, you know what? It was a good show, good view. I'm glad we got to do this watch along. So just to kind of wrap things up, we've got again Magnum TA episode. Thank y'all so much for the great numbers on that. Really, just can't thank you all enough. And then the Greg Gagne episode also doing well. You know, Greg Gagne just showed up on the Tales from the Territories episode for the AWA. One thing that means the most to us is following us on social media and at the same time rating and reviewing our podcasts. You can go whatever app you listen to it on. If it gives you the opportunity to hit a 5-star, put a note on there, we greatly appreciate that because it really means so much to us for just the ability to be able to continue this podcast and make it the best for you all. So again, follow us on all social media platforms at GMBMPW. You know, we're going to be doing some more things. We got some cool things planned. We have our normal podcast that drops through the feeds every other week, every other Thursday. Then we also have Mike Jablonski's Pissed Off that drops every Wednesday on YouTube. It's a YouTube exclusive. If you want to hear Mike Jablonski's Pissed Off, and he's mad, Jared. He's mad. He don't play around. He's mad.
Yeah.
He's pissed off.
And he's pissed off.
He is. And thank you all, again, for the support on that episode as well. Thanks, Mike, for being a part of the team. Do you have anything you'd like to share with the people before we leave?
Hey, man, one thing I wanted to drop was as far as my Plastic Sheik persona.
Action figure.
Zombie Sailor Toys, Heels and Faces, dropping, if you listen to us on the drop day, then they're dropping pre-order on the 27th. Series 2 lineup, Kevin Sullivan, Bruiser Brody, Andre the Giant, King Kong Bundy, Raven, and Nick Gage. So they're the Hasbro-esque. I think they're designed partially by Ron Rudat and stuff like that. So,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You can tell he's put a lot of work and effort into those, and it's very impressive, the job that he's done with that. I'm very impressed with that. So I'm glad, there's more and more out there for the collectors and stuff.
Figure sold separately.
With that being said, I think we're going to wrap this one up. I know it's a little bit longer than our normal shows, but we had to get the 4 matches in that we thought would make the most entertaining time.
Yeah.
Again, follow us on social media at GMBMPW. If you have a chance, follow me on my social media at James Rock Street on Twitter and Instagram. Also follow my other podcast at Live Wolfie D on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that. If you look up Live Wolfie D, you'll find the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Happy Halloween to all those out there that are having fun and trick-or-treating. Hopefully you get more treats than tricks. With that being said, we thank you all so much for listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. We'll be back next time.
Don't forget.
Fight forever.
With a tear in my eye. This is the greatest moment in my life.
This has been a James Rock Street production.